Today we're going to demonstrate the proper techniques for lifting a load. There are a certain number of things we need to do before we lift a load, and we're going to demonstrate those today. Number one, we want to verify what the load weight is. We can verify the load weight by looking at the load to see if it's labeled. We can look at shipping documents or engineered prints. In this particular case, the load says 2,000 pounds capacity. If we wanted to verify that, we can do a quick load estimation based on having our rigging pocket guide and what the weight of steel is to verify that weight. We've done that already, and we verified the weight that this weighs 2,000 pounds. Second, we want to see how it is we're going to connect to the load. We went ahead and attached the load with 4 cm screw pin anchor shackles, 1/2 inch, rated at 3-ton capacity in all 4 corners. We decided to use a quad sling 9/32 grade 100 and connect those hooks to our shackles. Our hooks have a positive locking latch to add securing the sling to the load. The next step we want to do is verify the tag information on the sling to ensure everything is correct and we have sufficient capacity to raise this load. So my tag says 9/32 chain. We want to verify that the 9/32 chain is good for 11,200 pounds at a 60-degree angle, and it's exactly what my rigging pocket guide says, so I verified the tag information. So I'm going to go through and do a thorough inspection. We've previously inspected the sling prior to attaching it, but we'll demonstrate what you need to do for a sling inspection prior to attaching it to the lift. I'm going to have my helper here give me a hand. And we're basically going to go through and verify that the components out there are compliant, that they're rated, have the manufacturer's logo on there, and then we're going to go do a link-by-link inspection of the chain. And we're looking for stretch, wear, nicks, gouges, heat damage, anything out of the ordinary that's going to cause us concern, that we're going to take this sling out of service if we don't like it. And again, it's a link-by-link inspection, and you got to be very thorough in doing it. And so just keep turning the chain and looking link by link. Again, we've done this already, but we're demonstrating exactly on how to do this. Looking at all our hooks, chain, turning the slings side by side, looking at interlinks. And of course our hooks for any wear, distortion, that the latches are operating properly. And those are compliant as well. And that's what you do with each leg of the sling, is you thoroughly inspect link by link, looking at each component, ensuring that it is safe to make the lift. Once you finish your inspection, hook your load up properly, make sure your shackle connections are hand tight and that the shackle pins are engaged with the body of the shackle. We also want to maintain load control by tying some taglines. We have 2 taglines tied to this load. That will prevent the load from twisting or swinging. We also do not want to touch this load once it gets above waist height. So once this load leaves the ground, we're going to totally guide this load by use of taglines. We can stand away from the load in case something happens. If it were to fall or move unexpectedly, we are out of the way. And so it's a great use to have a rope and some taglines tied to keep you safe. Once your taglines are tied, you want to verify your connections by just getting the sling taut. And you don't want the sling to leave the ground. You just want to get the slack out of the sling, and then just kind of look around and make sure all the connections you made are proper. And we just want to verify that our rigging is seated properly and we like all the connections, and then nothing is bound. And then we have 2 taglines tied to the load. We used a bowline knot to secure our taglines to the rigging, and we're going to use the taglines to guide the load once it leaves the ground. We do not want to touch the load after it leaves the ground. We're going to manage use of the taglines. Do not wrap the tagline around your hand. In the event the load were to spin out of control, be prepared to drop that tagline and get out of the way. The taglines get us well clear of the load in the event something were to happen. We are using mechanical means, and so we have to exercise care and caution, so taglines get us out of the line of fire in the event of a mishap. We're gonna have our pre-lift meeting with our helper to be sure everyone understands the job scope. What we're going to do is we're gonna manage these taglines. Do not lift the load until the taglines are secured, and do not touch the load once it leaves the ground. We're gonna take this load and move it down to the shipping area. We've cleared all tripping hazards, and we took protective means to stop pedestrian traffic becoming in the path of our load. If we were outdoors, we would take precautions for vehicle traffic and take the corrective measures to stop vehicle traffic from entering our area. We're going to use standard ASME hand signals during the lift, and I just want to verify that you understand standard ASME hand signals for overhead cranes.
Yes.
We're going to do this.
Hoist up, hoist down, trolley over, bridge, move.
Okay. And then if we see anything that we need to do an emergency stop, anything that becomes a hazard to us, or to stop the operation altogether, okay? Just give an emergency stop at any time. Before we connected our load, we did a pre-operational check on our crane system. If you want to learn more about pre-operational check to ensure a safe crane, see our YouTube video on pre-operational checks. Now we're ready to do the lift. We're going to manage our taglines and raise our load. Everything we've done up to this point ensures that we're going to have a safe lift. We're going to just lift our load slightly off the ground, verify that we have a nice level load, and then we'll move it. If you take these corrective measures beforehand, you should always rig safe. Okay, the load is off the ground. We want to verify that everything is holding and seating proper. We verified the hoist and the safety of the hoist and the crane by doing our pre-operational inspection prior to doing any rigging or lift and at the start of our shift, and we should do that all the time. And go see our video on pre-operational hoist and crane inspections for that information. Everything looks good, and it looks like we're prepared to move the load. So as you can see, we did the rigging step by step by the book, and if we do that each and every time, we ensure a safe lift and a safe move of our equipment by doing all the necessary steps for rigging prior to lifting the load off the ground.